All right, guys, so obviously if you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, hit that bell, and you'll get notified every single time I upload a video. All right, so I have a city attorney of Edinburg, Omar Ochoa, on the line right now. And one of the reasons I wanted to get you on the podcast is because I want factual information. A lot of people are hearing it's from my friend, like I hear this and I hear this and I hear this, and nobody really knows where to go for factual information. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on, and I want to, of course, tell you thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. So far right now, throughout Texas, there have been 334 people statewide that have tested positive for the coronavirus since March 22nd, which is today. 6 confirmed cases here in the Rio Grande Valley, 5 in Cameron County, and 1 in Hidalgo County. I don't think people really understand social distancing. Can you explain a little bit more and touch more on that subject?
Sure. So, me serving as the city attorney for Edinburg, my role in kind of this whole episode is to give the city legal advice based off of guidance that's coming in from the various government authorities. The White House has its own guidance, the CDC has its own guidance, the governor for the state of Texas, and then the county, obviously. Now, when it comes to social distancing, what we've been telling folks is really just to use common sense. This virus spreads from contact. It spreads from people being, within close vicinity of each other, from the virus getting on surfaces that are not clean. So essentially what we're asking folks to do is just to make sure that they're practicing good hygiene and good sanitary practices, wiping down surfaces that are frequently touched, making sure that they wash their hands thoroughly multiple times throughout the day using soap. Using hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. And then, as far as the distancing aspect goes, staying a good distance from each other. The CDC recommends 6 to 8 feet to prevent the spread of the virus. If you have to get in, closer contact with each other, try to stay at least arm's length for a short period of time. Those are kinds of the measures that the city has been asking the citizens to do.
Okay. I also just read that a new city, obviously a new city order in Austin requires grocery stores and pharmacies to enforce social distancing. Will we be seeing that anytime soon here in our community?
Well, that actually is already part of what the city has ordered most recently. So the city issued a second disaster order recently this past Friday that went into effect Friday at midnight. And part of what that asks is that retail stores that continue to remain open, such as our grocery stores, that they implement good practices of hygiene and social distancing. And so, for example, I know Academy in Edinburg is putting, X's on the floor where people should stand while they wait in line for registers. I believe some of our grocery stores are doing the same thing. So those are already measures we're asking retailers to do and that they're starting to do.
Great. That's good news to hear. Small businesses had to close their dining rooms, and I have a lot of friends that are in restaurateurs, and it's kind of a hit to our community, and they had to implement curbside and delivery options. What have you seen on your end as far as small business owners getting through this in our community?
Yeah, it's tough on everybody. Everything from, small businesses having to close their doors in the case of restaurants and bars, and even gyms, to our, the entire school district in Edinburg having to shut down. It's a real hardship on everyone. But, we're a community that's all sticking together. The city, as far as the city government goes, is doing its best to keep its citizens safe, by, staying plugged in from the guidance that's coming from other government authorities and trying to disseminate that to our citizens as fast as possible. Because, the truth is this is a very fluid situation and things change, hourly, really. When new guidance comes through, the city has to update the way that it's implementing, its orders and what it's doing to protect its citizens as well.
Oh, it's good to hear. Do you foresee a national shutdown?
Well, that's hard to say. And President Trump was quoted as recently, as last week, saying that was not something that was being in consideration. But you do see lockdown orders coming from individual states. I think we have 5 right now who have issued, shelter-in-place orders. You've seen that happen in other countries as well. I would not be surprised if there were to be some kind of more aggressive actions being taken, by the state, by the country. Whether that's going to turn into a lockdown, I guess remains to be seen.
Interesting. So the coronavirus is likely to have a lot of people laid off from a lot of jobs in a scale that the United States has never seen before. What does this mean for us when this is all said and done?
Right. And I do want to be careful, right? I don't want to get too far away from kind of where my role lies, which is as an attorney. Okay. The measures that cities, counties, states, our country has taken, it's all meant and it's all focused on keeping the community safe. Okay. This virus is something very different than what we've seen before. It spreads, very quickly. And it spreads between people who might not even be symptomatic. So from that standpoint, it has the possibility to be very aggressive. So the restrictions that are being put in place, all of that is meant to protect people. And so we can keep that in mind. If we can all just use common sense in terms of practicing good hygiene and keeping our distances, we'll get through this.
Would you be able to touch on anything about price gouging?
Sure. So that is also something that the city of Edinburg has prohibited as well. That was part of a disaster order that was issued last Tuesday. And basically what that says is that vendors cannot charge higher prices for basic goods such as food, clothing, medical supplies, and toiletries, and other things included in the list. But anybody that's engaging in price gouging, they're committing a crime, and we're enforcing that in the city.
That's good to hear. Also, obviously, information is changing what seems like every single hour. Do you have any other insight for my listeners?
Well, just to stay informed as best as you can. Like you said, the situation changes, and I anticipate there's going to be more restrictions coming out over the next few days. And it's important for people to, one, stay plugged in, stay informed about what these restrictions are, but also very important for them to listen. All of us are trying to handle this the best that we can. It's affecting everyone's lives. No one wants to be the person that has, harm put on them. But at the same time, we're all in this together, right? Everyone's health depends on everybody else doing what's in the best interest of the community. So we can keep that in mind. It'll be that much easier for us to get through this.
Do you think the RGV should be in panic mode right now?
No, absolutely not. This is a situation that is one that the community can handle. Things like going out and bulk buying are not something that our community should be doing. Our grocery stores, our medical supplies, our medical service people, all of them are, ready to handle the demands that are being put in place right now. So everybody just needs to remember to stay calm, to listen again to what the restrictions and the rules are being placed on them, because it's all being done for their well-being.
I have one more question before we finish off the podcast. Do you have any insight on school shutdowns and how they're going to move forward after a shutdown?
No, unfortunately, I don't. I have not been working with the school district in terms of the timing for lifting the shutdown or what they'll be doing afterwards. Okay.
Well, I appreciate your time, Mr. Ochoa. Obviously, this is something that we've never dealt with in our history of life. So I appreciate any insights you have, and I appreciate your time very much.
Thanks again for inviting me.
All right, thank you. Hit that subscribe button on the bottom right. Hit that bell, and you'll get notified every single time I upload a video.